Hello, Mrs. Victoria. I have a question about the test.
Ask away. I am the best teacher around here after all. What's the question?
What is the significance of Elizabeth's rule? And how did she influence future rulers?
Elizabeth was one of the most successful and important monarchs England has ever had. She was a Protestant ruler, and she followed the rule of her half-sister Mary I.
Since she was Protestant, she probably wasn't favored by her subjects all that much, right?
On the contrary, she was actually one of the most loved and favored rulers of her time.
She also never married anyone, correct?
Of course. Out of fear of having her power taken away from her by her husband, she never married. That is where she got the name the Virgin Queen.
She seemed to be very independent and strong.
And she very much was. You should do some more studying on her so you can get the grade you deserve. She is going to be a big topic on the test.
I will try all I can to get that A+.
Hi there, Jake. How was your day at school today?
Hey Dad. It was good. I'm just stressing out right now because I have a test coming up and there's still so much I don't know.
What subject is it?
It's AP Euro and the tests require a lot of studying.
Your old man was pretty good at history back in the day. I'll help you study.
You will?
Of course. Now tell me what you're having trouble on.
Well, I'm going to be writing an essay on Elizabeth I and her rule, but I don't know that much about her.
Let's see. If I remember correctly, she had a long rule of 44 years as she ruled from 1558 to 1603.
That's right. I also learned that she was very dedicated to ruling as she chose advisors carefully and took control over court.
She was always able to inspire her people. She was very involved as she visited her people often.
We learned that her biggest achievements were that she defeated the Spanish Armada and that she executed her cousin Mary, Queen of Scots.
She killed her own cousin?
Mary was a threat to Elizabeth's throne and she would not have it. Elizabeth executed her after some hesitation.
Well, I guess she was a queen that knew what she wanted.
That's all I really know. I feel like it won't be enough for the test.
You'll do great. As long as you keep studying like this.
I guess you're right. Thanks, Dad.
Anytime, son.
I'm still confused about the test.
Oh my gosh, Jake, when are you not confused?
I just need some more information on Elizabeth I.
I'm not sure how else to help you. What are you confused on?
I think if you ran me through her life and her accomplishments, I would have a better understanding overall.
I don't have all the time in the world. This is the last time I'm helping you. Okay, Jake?
Okay, as long as you run me through the entire Elizabethan era.
Well, let's start with Elizabeth's childhood and her royal background. Elizabeth Tudor was born on September 7, 1533. Elizabeth's mother, Anne Boleyn, was Henry VIII's second wife, making Elizabeth his daughter.
Didn't Henry Tudor divorce his first wife, Catherine of Aragon, so he could marry Anne Boleyn?
Correct. Catherine of Aragon gave him a daughter, Mary I, which he was disappointed with.
Little did he know what Mary would end up doing in the future.
All Henry cared about was getting a son so that he could have a male heir.
That is so stupid. Didn't he have 6 wives? All of which he either divorced or executed.
All except for Catherine Parr, who outlived him for 2 years. Anyways, Elizabeth grew up close to her siblings Mary and Edward.
Wasn't Elizabeth very brilliant as a child? She was taught Latin, Greek, Spanish and French, right?
You're on the right track. She was also taught humanist education such as history, philosophy and mathematics.
The death of Elizabeth's mother was hidden from her, correct? I heard she learned about it on her own later.
Yes, it was. But nonetheless, she still loved and admired her father. Elizabeth showed signs of intelligence from a very young age, as she often surprised her governess by her extensive knowledge of court politics.
How did Mary and Elizabeth eventually become queens, if they were made illegitimate by Henry, when he divorced and executed their mothers?
Great question. In July 1543, the Third Act of Succession was passed by the Parliament of England. This returned both Mary and Elizabeth to the line of throne after their brother Edward. After Henry died, his 9-year-old son Edward became King of England. After Edward's death from tuberculosis at age 16, Mary took the throne.
and that marked the beginning of the reign of Bloody Mary. She had almost 300 people burned at the stake.
Yes, she sadly did. As soon as that scary ugly queen died in 1558, Elizabeth took the throne.
Wasn't it difficult for her to rule after Bloody Mary's horrible rule of suffering and death?
Not at all. Elizabeth was quite the successful ruler. She was shrewd and hard-headed and was dedicated to ruling. She chose advisors carefully and she was tolerant of all religions.
Didn't she let pirates roam the seas?
Yeah, of course she did. They were called Elizabeth's explorers. She let sailors pirate Spanish ships and it helped her get more exploration and money for England.
What else?
Elizabeth made many public appearances and she formed the Anglican Church of England. She kept 50% of Protestant stuff in Catholic groups.
So what happened with the conflict with England and Spain?
I was just getting to that if you wouldn't interrupt me. No calling out. I'm dead serious. I can send you straight to world cultures. Those are not the characteristics of an IB student. Anyways, Philip II was so annoying. He got angry at the English over the fact that they had colonies in the New World and that Elizabeth was helping the Dutch. He decided to have an invasion on England by sea by his armada, or navy. Luckily, England had the best marines of time. They had smaller ships that were easier to maneuver and had strong firepower.
So what happened then?
The English set fire to some ships and sent fire towards the middle of some Spanish ships anchored at Calais. The next day the remaining ships retreated home around Ireland. Unfortunately for them, winds hit and half the fleet was destroyed by the English fleet. This destroyed Philip's ambitions in England for good.
Can you tell me some more about her relationship with Mary Queen of Scots?
Well, Jake, that is a very interesting and intelligent question. Elizabeth and Mary Queen of Scots were related because Mary's grandmother was Margaret Tudor, Henry VIII's sister. Margaret Tudor married King James V of Scotland and her son was Mary's father. Henry VIII was thus her great-uncle and she and Elizabeth were cousins.
That is such a long and complicated relation.
The conflict between them arose when Mary became Queen of France after she married Francis II. This frightened Elizabeth because Mary now was the Queen of Scotland and France. She feared Mary would try to take the English throne as well.
So she executed her.
Yes, after some time she did. Mary was always seen as a threat to Elizabeth because many Catholics did not recognize Elizabeth as the true queen of the realm. These Catholics would rather have Mary on the throne over Elizabeth. This worried Elizabeth, so she eventually had to execute her.
Elizabeth was very strict about her power, wasn't she?
Yes, she was. But she was also a queen who loved arts and literature. The Elizabethan era also brought a lot of new art into England. Shakespeare was greatly indebted to the patronage and support of his royal patron Elizabeth. She devoted herself to the study of the ancient classical period and delighted in her own theatrical entertainments. She used her influence in the progress of English drama and helped take care of Shakespeare's literature.
Wow, Elizabeth seems pretty amazing. I finally understand everything about her. She was a very independent and brilliant queen who was strong-willed and kind to her people.
I'm glad you understand and I'm happy I could help.